Now, while we live in these uncertain times, job search should not stop because companies are still hiring. Now, what has changed is the way companies conduct interviews. They went from in-person to virtual interviews that could be both audio and video. So in this video, what I'm going to talk about is give you some tips on how to have a successful virtual interview. My name is Ivan Lesso, and as an MBA career coach, I've helped a lot of people find their dream job after an MBA. And if this is your first time on this channel, consider subscribing below and hitting that bell. That way you'll know exactly when I post new videos. All right, so for today, I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to set yourself up for success if you have an interview coming up that's virtual interview. And the first tip that I have for you is to make sure that you have your both audio and video on point. Now, let's start with the video. It's totally okay to use your camera on the laptop. And one thing that I would recommend is not to put your laptop and have the camera face upwards, or not to use an external webcam that will be facing you downwards. But instead, what you want to do is you want to put the camera at the same level as your face, kind of the same thing as I have with my camera going right now. And a simple way to do that is just to put a stack of books and put your laptop on that stack, and make sure that the camera is at the same level so you're not looking downwards or you're not looking upwards. Now for video, again, it's totally okay to use a microphone on your laptop. However, you want to have your microphone to be as close as possible. So one thing you could do is to use simple headphones. Don't use the Bluetooth headphones like AirPods because the Bluetooth connection could be unstable. And last thing you want is to have some technical difficulties. All right, so that's the tip number 1. Again, make sure your audio and video is on point. Tip number 2 is make sure that your lighting is on point as well. Now, what happens a lot of times is you could have a bright background, and that what then happens with your camera is it makes you dark and it exposes the background. And typically what I see is people sit right next to a window and they have a window behind them. Instead, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you either have enough daylight coming towards you, so that means that your window should really be facing you, not be in the background. But if it's, maybe when it's not, there isn't enough daylight, you want to put some, you want to put as much light as possible in the room, again, so it faces you and it's not in the background, because last thing you want is to you be in the dark and then your background be exposed. So make sure your lighting is on point. Figure out what time your interview is going to be, figure out how much daylight you're going to have, and if possible, sit in front of the window, and that way you'll have some natural daylight, and that will help you make sure that your lighting is on point. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is practice. Now, a lot of people are nervous that they're going to have technical difficulties, they're not going to look great on camera, etc. Figure out what technology you're going to be using for that interview, and the most common technology being used today is Zoom, and you can download Zoom for free, and then ask your family member or a friend to join Zoom and make sure they can hear you fine, make sure, again, the video is on point, and there aren't any other issues when it comes to, again, you being on camera or you being on audio. Now, a lot of people don't know if they're going to have a simple phone call over Zoom or if they're going to have a video. The first thing I would recommend is asking and just saying, hey, is this going to be a video call or a video conference, or is it just going to be audio only? Now, if you don't feel comfortable asking, you can join in audio only mode. And then if you see your interviewer going on video, you can turn on the video too. Now for that, you want to make sure that you are prepared to go on video. You always want to be prepared to go on video. And that way, if you see the interviewer go on video, you can go on video as well. Now, the last kind of bonus tip I have for you is the dress code. And I would definitely recommend maybe not going with a professional dress code, because everybody is working remotely now, and the likelihood of the interviewer, wearing a tie or wearing a professional dress attire is low. But you still want to look, maybe at least have a business casual look, and that way you'll be certain that you're not underdressed. So again, just dress one level up, and that way it's better to be overdressed than underdressed. I think that's kind of the what I'm trying to get to. So with that, again, thanks a lot for watching. I would certainly recommend also doing a mock interview, and you can do a mock interview maybe with somebody that a friend of yours that could do that. If you don't have anybody, you can apply to work with me. Just shoot me a note at ivan@mbathink.com. I'll put my email below, and I'll send you a link to apply to work with me and to do a mock interview. But at first, would start to see if you have any friends, because you want to, if you have an interview coming up, you want to do that sooner rather than later. But I appreciate your time. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next video.